Hello, good morning. Today I'm going to talk about a project that I've been doing with my bachelor students for the last 14 years. Basically, I'm going to show the process, the outcome, and some considerations about the project. It started in 2003. At that time, I was working as a full-time art director for a Brazilian magazine, and I also had some experience with type design. And then came this graphic design course at São Paulo, at the University of Guarulhos, and they needed a lecturer for the typography module. At the time, I was only 25 years old. I didn't know what to do. They asked me to be part of this because I have some typefaces published at that time. And typography modules were relatively new in Brazilian graphic design courses at that time. For instance, the previous lecturer was not even specialized in typography. But then the first thing that I asked is, what about the module description? What should I teach to them? And then the answer was that. There's a module description, but you can do whatever you want. As a maker, well, for me it was easy to go to this approach, but of course in the academic world it's not the best way to go. So what happened is that I've been doing that for 14 years now. I've been teaching for undergrads, postgraduates, and some workshops. In the project I'm about to show, I did it in 4 different institutions in Brazil so far. And this typography module, just to get a start, to understand the project itself, is like a 32 hours module. Will be 16 encounters with a duration of 2 hours each. And in the average, I have like 12 students. The content basically would be the history of typography, letter anatomy, type classification, legibility, technology, vendors, licensing models. But of course, at the end, the goal is about to make the students know how to choose type and to use type. They are the very first semester of the course. And I go through 6 different projects. The one I'm going to show is the first one. I'm going to develop it later. But then just to get an idea, I have one that later goes with letterforms. This is the kind of some of the results. The other would be with semantics, when they have to use Museum 500 with different ways just to get in a context. The next would be a lecturing exercise. The other would be about legibilities. They have to pick up bad signage and then improve it with the good use of typography. And the last one is about composition. Then I got to design a poster with promoting like a fictitious lecture with the author of a typeface. So in that case, it would be Eric Gill presenting his talk. And at the end, one of these projects was even published at the My Fonts book at the very beginning. It was chosen. This one of the students' poster. But I'm talking about the first ones, the first type exercise. I've been doing that with 17 groups so far, with more than 350 students. But on this analysis, I'm going to talk about 12 groups and 134 students. I'm not going to talk about all of them, because the process changed a little bit since I started. Basically, it's a type anatomy activity. So the goals are to understand the basic rules of typography, learn about consistency, contrast, and style, and train the eye to spot details on letterforms. What I do, I chose for the typeface Franklin Gothic, and I give them in this A4 size piece of paper, and they just ask them to get 2 black pens, one with thin or another with thick strokes, so they can do details, so they can just draw the letter forms properly. They have, since I started doing it, they had 2 hours to do it, but it would be like 1 hour 45 minutes of drawing and 15 minutes introduction. But then, as you can see here, I started with 50 students in the class, so it was a nightmare to give feedback to them. So what I did, the presentation itself, I show more slides than this, but just to get an idea about the things that I showed to them, just to start up with the project. And then they start designing, completing the alphabet. So it's a free method, just by observation. I don't give directions about how she be doing that, because this is part of the learning process. And some would be doing like this, just starting to draw outlines, and then later would be filling out. Some of them would use rulers, and the others would start with a pencil instead of a pen. Then this is one of the results, and this is the template that I give to them afterwards. The first one I used to give them once it was 50 students. I didn't have the time to go to one by one, so I think the process was incomplete. And then 2009, I went to Reading. I was doing this exercise for 5 years. And one of the things that I learned most with Jerry over there is about the process of producing knowledge about by comparison and giving group feedbacks. Like just put things on the wall and compare it to each other, but in a sense not to see which one's best or worst, but you can learn for each other. So I incorporated that when I came back. So I changed it a little bit. So now, of course, it's better because I have only 12, in the average of 12 students compared to 50. And then I made a short introduction, 10 minutes, and then 1.5 hours of drawing and 20 minutes of feedback at the end. Basically, what I would do, I just put things on the wall afterwards, and then I asked them the first thing: what do you see? What do you see over here? So I can talk about contrast, I can talk about many things, about the process itself, of doing it. And then I start to make some notes. As you can see, it's just for them, so it's not the best way to make notes, but it's just, as I talk to them, I can say, yeah, what do you see about this letter? And compare it to the other one. So just to make a comparison. At some point, I even did like this transparency sheet, but at the end, I dropped it because it was really hard for them to spot the difference from distance. So I dropped it, and instead, I kept the template that I would give to them at the end. So now I'm going to show a few outcomes. So basically, I don't have the time to go letter by letter, but I've selected a few that I think that are more important. Most of them didn't get, let's say, for the uppercase A. Most of them, they didn't get the right width of the letter. So it's something that it might have to be with the way that some kinds of letters, I did it in a way that I just got like half side of it incomplete. And then let's say in the A, it was tricky because sometimes they would just figure out that I was supposed to get like the descending, but it was supposed to be thicker than this, right? The uppercase O, the same thing. Here we can talk more about the accuracy, about the experience they have. Bear in mind that they are just in the second week of the graphic design course. They don't know a clue about design, not even about type design. They know what design is. So here at the accuracy, they can see that if they don't have the experience of drawing, it's harder for them to make a proper letter forms. So even in this case, the O is like you don't have an excuse. It should be the same as the Q. So if just by observation, in some cases you can see that they don't have the experience to do it properly. The S would be kind of in the same way, although it's one of the worst letters to draw. But here we get the lowercase, so it shouldn't be that an issue. I don't know why sometimes they get to do results like this, you know, like just. I don't know, maybe it's because just like across it there's a uppercase T, so it's make it easy to like a ligature, I don't know. But yeah, this is some of the results, and by that I can tell them that if you do it, the width of the lower part, if it's narrower than the top part, is wrong. So I can start to talk about a few things about typography by using their own exercise. Even this letter, this I can talk about a little bit about Gestalt by explaining why the strokes are not parallels. So it's something that I think as a process for me it was easier to explain that way, just than providing a different like a theoretical background. They wouldn't know. By doing it, they'd say, yeah, okay, now I can get it. I tried to do it and it didn't work, and then that's why I do it like a comparative model. So I can just see. As a group, which one got closer to that, and sometimes I even tell them this is what the graphic designer wanted for this typeface, but it doesn't mean that it's right. You can be like in typography, you can do. Sometimes you can bend your own rules, for instance. So it's in a way to start to develop a criticism about it. And the lowercase a, the most issue here is about the single story A and double story. I would say like 35 or 40% of them would go with single story A instead of double story. And then here I can talk a little bit about geometric fonts versus Gothic fonts. So I can explain a little bit the difference between them just by showing their own examples. Or the cursive letter, here the lowercase f. I think this is the one that they always tell me about it during the process. Yeah, I don't know how to draw the lowercase f. And the thing is, most of them, they don't get the height properly. I think in some cases because we are used to the cursive lowercase f, so let's say all the italics, for instance, as well. So they keep pushing them to the descending. As you can see, as you can see here, it's about the baseline. And some crazy things that, like here, like the reversive f. Uppercase F is the same thing, kind of uppercase. These I thought it would be easy as well because I think I will start with that. Just get the end, then I got it like half through the process. But then you can see results like this, and it was tricky. For instance, the uppercase H. It's something that I would never expect to have to be in a situation like this. But I make calculations. I have an average of 10% of the students doing this solution. I don't know why they do the uppercase H. And even though the first student, this one over there, is the one that got it. I'm gonna talk a little bit later. But it's the student that got the best results so far. Even her would be trying to go for the uppercase H. So then she realized, no, this is the wrong way. So he stopped it half through the process. And here, things like having the rounded dot and the J. You can see it here. Of course, I did this on purpose. I didn't put one just close to another because it would be way too easy for. So I was trying to make them to think about it, the process. So every time that I had the chance to complicate a little bit, I did. And the same thing here, the H or the Q, you have like uppercase solutions for that. It's crazy. Some of them I think I do like. I'm gonna talk about at the end, but it's not the right solution, but they do work. The same thing here, P, Q, B, and D. I thought it would be easy because I gave them the lowercase b. Not that easy. I can tell now that I didn't get the top part of it. But then you can see that, I don't know, sometimes maybe because they don't have experience with graphic design at all, it's harder to them to make the visual connections about what letterforms should look like. Or here I have some creative solutions about where to place the terminal, because sometimes they didn't have it all. But then just below the baseline, to reverse it again, I have like 5 or 6% of them doing things like that. And also then I can talk to them about how hard it is sometimes if you don't have the precision of drawing to get it done properly. By doing that for a long time, I can tell when they are doing a solution because they don't know what the letterform should look like, or if they don't have the precision, the skills to design them properly. And the W would be like some weird results. This might be because I didn't give the reference for both, for even uppercase or lowercase, so they don't have a clue about how to start. Even if you go like a double V, but I explained this to them later, just after the process, not before. And then, but there's a thing, as a teacher, what can you learn for this? Well, or as a type designer or graphic designer. So I made like in five things that I want to talk about this. One is the time spent. That as I told you earlier, at the beginning was like this: 10 minutes, 1 hour and a half, and 20 minutes. But one thing that I'm kind of facing at every semester, every new semester, is that they spend more time doing it. The students, I don't know. I'm trying to make a comparison about why they do it, but at the end, what is happening now is that I barely can do the feedback in the same class. I had to do in the following class, and then spend like 1 hour and 50 minutes drawing. Or things even about the concentration itself. First of all, I started with the first semester students, but the university changed the whole structure of the course about 2 years ago. So now they are in the third semester doing the same typography module. And the thing is, I thought it would be like a huge advance, let's say, in the way of doing it, and it's not that much. I think in 1 year, maybe it's not enough for you to develop train your eye for spot details. And the thing is even about the concentration, is that the students of the first semester, they want to prove their skills. Imagine, you're starting a group, you're in the second week, you want to prove to each other. So they were really concentrated in doing it. And students from the third semester, sometimes they are so relaxed, they start talking to each other, they want to listen to music. It's completely different from first semester. And sometimes some of them even get bored during the process. As you can see on the right, she knows how to do it. And she has so much time left that she's starting doing some like color fonts. But as you can see, she knows how to do it. In this case, you can see that, hey guys, he doesn't want to do it. Because if you want to do this like emulating gravure, you have the time to think about it. You could have the time to think about the letterforms itself. But then he said, yeah, just fill it out and do this thing, then that's it. Other thing would be the accuracy. And this is interesting, that it's about the drawing skills that you have previously for this exercise. As you can see, this two on the right, I didn't even put in the presentation before, because it would be in every slide, for the specific letters. I don't know. I think it's even hard to explain, but I kind of like some of the solutions. And then here you can see this is a student that has a previous background with graphic design or visual communication or visual arts or something like that. He knows how to do it. And some of the students, they don't even know how to start. I think this, I don't know, so she get bored, I don't know, or don't have a Control-Z, so don't know what to do. And you get to the experience itself again. I teach to them from the first semester to the last one. I orientate them to the final projects, so it's easy to get to know them from the very beginning. So how they develop in 3 years. And in these cases, like the student on the left, she had a background in fine arts prior to that. This one in advertising, he did like a 2 year of the BA in advertising, and the one on the right is a postgrad student. So you can see that when you have a previous experience with drawing, it doesn't matter if it's the letters or not. It's easier for you to make the visual connections and design the letter forms. And then the last topic would be creativity. Again, that's why I brought it back, the same solution for this student. And I got a new one again, because I think there are some solutions that are so crazy that it's even hard to start to understand why they do it. But I think that it's a kind of a naive solution. If you don't have any background, or if you don't even think about it properly before doing it, sometimes this is the result you might get. If you get a better experience of drawing, maybe you can get a little better, but sometimes that's the point. It's not only about the letter form, it's about visual thinking. If you don't know what you are doing, it doesn't matter how skilled you are, you're not going to deliver at the end. So then I made like a complete alphabet of just the letters that are completed as the one as it was in the exercise, and the others I tried to make an alphabet. If we were in the 90s, I would probably launch this as a typeface. I could even have a name for it. It could be Fuck It Gothic, could be. And the thing is, we are not in the 90s, so I'm trying to see, to get to what about this exercise. It's about why sometimes we have some naive solutions that could bring to interesting letter forms. For instance, this lowercase j is completely wrong, but I think I love this solution. Maybe if you have a lot of experience, you're never going to do that. It's like emulating children's drawing. once you know the children, it's really hard. So I think this is kind of way related to typography. So solutions like this, like this, like this, the F, reverse the F. So what I give them as a feedback is sometimes I write it down. Save this later for a few years. If you want to do a typeface in the future, look it back to this. Of course, it's not that you are going to start this letter and make it in the whole alphabet, but it's some kind of these solutions that you're never going to do it again if you have a lot of experience. That's it. Thank you.